This afternoon, religious tolerance takes center stage again as Catholic Bishops' Conference and Christian Council insist on right to preserve the Christian identity in senior high schools. Also this hour, Inspector General of Police Christian Tete Yohuno renewed mandates ruffles feathers. We'll tell you why. Plus, more than 400 people displaced by the Akosombo Dam spillage still stack incomes in North Tongu district of the Volta region. We get to the bottom of that story. It's News Central, live on TV3. I'm Kemini Amanor. Mawina has the day off. Let's get into the details. Now, the Education Minister, Haruna Idrisu, has stressed that government will ensure no student is deprived of their right to practice their religion. He was reacting to allegations that Muslim students at the Wesley Girls High School are being prevented from practicing their religion. The central issue in a suit filed by private legal practitioner Shafiq Osman. Speaking on the floor of Parliament on Tuesday, Haruna Idrisu stated that any action that denies students of their religious rights will not be countenanced.
Mr. Speaker, let me also use this opportunity in debating the budget, since I speak as the present Minister for Education, that there is some ongoing debate on restrictions on Muslim students in Wesley Girls, which conflicts with international human rights standards and even standard expected of us in Ghana's Constitution under Article 33(5) and 26(1) of the Constitution. And then to assure our colleagues that we have a duty to uphold the rights of every Ghanaian child and to uphold the rights of every Ghanaian citizen. No right is divisible, and that we will not countenance any action by any person to deny any Ghanaian girl the opportunity to profess or practice any religion. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude.
We'll stay on this subject because the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference and the Christian Council of Ghana have jointly reaffirmed their resolve to preserve the Christian identity and ethos of mission schools amid growing national debate over whether non-Christian students, especially Muslims, should be allowed to fully practice their faith in these institutions. Now, the two bodies argue that mission schools were founded, built and nurtured by churches long before the establishment of the modern state, and that government's support represents a partnership, not ownership, of these schools. They maintain that because attendance is voluntary, parents who choose these schools do so knowing they operate within a Christian worldview, and that introducing parallel religious systems would undermine the discipline, unity, and moral formation that have defined their long-standing educational success. Now, they further emphasize that their stance is supported by constitutional rights to religious liberty and freedom of association, which allow Christian institutions to operate schools consistent with their faith. Let's stay on the subject and engage Dr. Sheikh Ibrahim Ibn Sana, a doctor and an Islamic scholar who has written on this subject matter recently. Doc, I appreciate your time with us this afternoon. But first, I want to hear your thoughts on the reinforced position of the Christian Council that, I just went through.
That in the first place, the Christian Council position, whilst it is their right to say what they said, I don't think it engenders national cohesion and religious tolerance. We've come a long way in the sub-region where Ghana has enjoyed relative peace and cooperation between Muslims and Christians. And I think that developments such as this must be tackled by sober minds and reflections that reflect on the national mood as Ghanaians. But I think the position they have taken is not going to help us as a country, as a people in the long run. Why am I saying so? The Constitution of the Republic of Ghana guarantees every Ghanaian child the right to go to any school of their choice and the right to practice their religion. That includes all of us as adults. Now, Muslim schools and mission schools, whatever bylaws, rules, and regulations that we enact, all of them are subservient to our national 1992 Constitution, which guarantees freedom of association, freedom of assembly, freedom of worship, and the right to free speech. In the case of the Wesley Girls situation, a lot of people have misunderstood the entire process. What the Muslims are saying, the Muslims do not want to cause confusion. They are not asking for special treatment. They are not against the parents, and the students are not against discipline. They are not against, putting measures in place that will not bring rebellion. They are not demanding special treatment at all. They are saying that as we are in the school, just like our Christian brothers, our Christian sisters in the case of Wesley Girls, who practice their religion freely, allow us to also practice our religion. Now, when you allow one set of Ghanaian students to freely practice their religion, and you deny another Ghanaian not to practice their religion, you are discriminating against the second Ghanaian because of the religion.
But what the Christian Council says is, before going to the school, you knew that it's a Christian school. Does that argument hold water?
It does not, because you see, we as Ghanaians are not like other countries. I attended schools built by Christians all over the place, including universities. None of them stopped me from practicing my religion as a Muslim. Just like many other national heroes who attended Muslim schools and they were not stopped from practicing their Christianity. A situation where we institutionalize discriminatory religious practices, it is akin to apartheid, a religiously institutionalized apartheid, because whatever laws or bylaws you institutionalize in your schools, they must not override the national constitution. What is wrong in allowing a Muslim to fast during the month of Ramadan? What is wrong? What would it spoil in the school? What is wrong with allowing a Muslim girl? In fact, each prayer never takes more than 5 minutes.
Right. So
even in their dormitories, they can pray within 3 minutes, 4 minutes, they are done.
Right, Doc. So just before we get
into... What would it spoil? But to say that when you come to Wesley Girls, you must be a Christian throughout, it looks like a deliberately institutionalized, apartheid, religious apartheid, to ensure that Either you...
Right, Doc, when we zoom out on this issue and put it in a national context, my question is this testament to our own religious intolerance? And I'm not just referring to Christians, but is it testament to a national level religious intolerance that perhaps we have been turning a blind eye on? Well, it would appear we lost Doc over the connection, but I would have loved to look at this more from a national point of view. It's essentially, Doc has been telling us that the two religions or even many more religions could exist in the educational environment. The question now will be how the government of the day will be able to tackle this issue in order not to flare up any more emotions attached to people's religious identities. When we get Doc back over the line, we will look into that matter. In the meantime, we can turn attention to other issues around this. We've heard from the Education Minister who was on the floor of Parliament, who's talked about how it's essential that religious tolerance is observed in schools. We'll see how, the ministry tackles this going forward. But right now, Ghana's Inspector General of Police has been granted a 2-year extension of service, despite an earlier government directive barring post-retirement contract renewals. The decision has sparked fresh debate over consistency in public service rules and what it means for leadership stability within the police service. Before we interrogate this any further, let's listen to Communications Director for the United Party, Solomon Owusu, Senior Lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Joshua Zato, on what they think about this extension. They spoke on New Day.
Extension conforms to the laws of the land. The president has the power to extend any public officer who is due for retirement for a period of maximum 2 years. And so in terms of its legality, the president is right. I've heard a lot of people make allusions to a statement that was issued on the 2nd of April 2025 by the Executive Secretary to the President that he had suspended contract appointments. But then to suspend is to put a temporary hold on something. So if they put a temporary hold on a policy and then they have reversed it, to the extent that it does not conflict with the constitution of the land, I have no issues. Of course, it will hurt a lot of people because people were expecting that they would also occupy the position of the IGP. But that does not still negate what the president has done.
What is happening is this policy obfuscation and policy confusion. What is happening is this flip-flopping of a government. And that is actually the process. You cannot pretend to be transparent and not fully transparent. You can also pretend to be accountable and not fully accountable. Nobody forced the Secretary of the President to issue that statement. Nobody did. He issued it on his own volition. Was it just a pretense? Did he mean it when he issued it? He should mean it. What we are asking for is policy clarity and consistency. It's not about the person at all. It's just saying that, okay, this is our new policy. This is how we do things now. So that from now onwards, we will all know and deal with it. But if you don't do it now, I'm thinking that what do I have to do to get an extension? Will I get it? Won't I get it? What do I have to, whom do I have to lobby? Whom do I have to see? How many chiefs do I have to go to? How many politicians do I have to convince? Or do I know that, well, once my system ended, I'm going back to my village to win this? Give people that consistency to work with. When you do this, it sounds of amateurism and it's not nice.
Let's stay on this subject now and engage security analyst Dr. Doke, who's joining me via Zoom. Doc, are we making a big deal of this?
Yes, thank you very much, Kemini. Good day to you. I think, honestly, those who want to make a big deal out of this will do. And those of us who are looking at it in a very subject manner and looking at all the positives, including the cons and the pros, and then the aspect of upholding the security, the integrity of the security when it comes to the police service. I think generally, the president has the mandate to, extend anybody's contract. That's fair enough. It's been established. the police council, okay, its membership, having been made of prominent men and women of the land, having seen the performance of the IGP, deemed it wise to recommend. Now, let's look at this current dispensation where the change of IGP, whether it's going to, positively affect or negatively affect. Now, on the positive side, him continue, it's a good sign because you have so many policies that he has rolled out. The task force that he has established fighting, illegality, the task force that was engaged in the fight against galamsey, and then also you're looking at the restructuring, decentralization of the what communication aspect of information coming to the general public, and then also getting to the fourth estate, which was one of the major challenges, in the erstwhile administration, where
Right. So,
information was
Doc,
just
before you go any further on that, then the president has himself to blame because it was his idea that we shouldn't renew these contracts, right?
right. If you look at it, so yes, you would say the president has himself to blame. But let's look at the aspect of security. Continuity is very key. In this current season we are in, getting to the festive season, we need everyone on his toes. Now, you're talking about him having to now open the system, get everybody on board, the policeman, everybody on board, get his personnel to get accustomed to the new style of what, how they do things. Changing now would mean a new, different aspect coming all together. You don't know who the person is coming to change. And then we are talking about changing the internal, units also, the heads and whatnot.
Right.
All of these things are in consideration. That is why the council deemed it fit. Okay, but holistically, what are some of the achievements?
Doc, on that score, on the argument of continuity, the counter argument others have made, particularly from the opposition party, is that if continuity is the problem, then we should have allowed, the former IGP, George Ekufu Dampare, then to stay on as well, right? How do you how do you counter that argument?
Well, you see, when you talk about continuity, you look at it from the perspective of performance also. Okay. Now, Judge Dr. Dampare, yes, was performing his duties, irrespective of the many, ills that were against him. Okay, the aspect of the allegations of him not listening, the centralized system of communication when it comes to information getting to the fourth estate and whatnot. Okay, interagency collaboration was also one aspect which was against him. Now, this current IGP has shown that he's willing to collaborate with any agency, and he has shown it. So continuity is tied to what performance. And we look at the task that the president gave this current IGP with regards to what coming out with a report. Okay, on the 2020-2024 election-related violence. How did the Israel, leadership handle it, and how did this person handle it? So you look at all these things, yeah, the achievements of this current IGP,
right,
and then you will say, well, continuity is key. Okay, relatively, there's been some level of disregard to what the police would do, visibility, welfare of the personnel themselves. How many times has he promoted personnel who have shown professionalism on the field? How many times has he sanctioned the personnel who's have been found wanting on the field, taking bribes and all of that? So we look at all these factors, and then you can say, well, in the right direction, the council did not err. The council did not, do any bad thing recommended, and the president also did not do any bad thing recommended. So I think people should look at the positive side of it, and then look at the aspect of how we can now come together and help them succeed. Now, 2 years, it can go wrong or it can go right. The moment he starts underperforming, trust me, he will be found wanting, and that is why we'll come again, talk, and then he'll be taken off for somebody else to come in. But I think for now, you won't have any of his, team or colleagues who have raised an issue. You are here to serve the nation. The president gives us to appoint you. If your tenure is over, he can decide And this is not the first time we've had this incident happening. That we've had an extension of the IGP. It's happened before. So I think we should look at the interest of the country itself, and then let's not make personal issues of political
Right.
sentiments about this.
I see. Doc, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Victor
Thank you very
Doke
much.
is a security expert. We've just been looking at that extension, 2-year extension to be precise, that the government has handed the IGP Christian Tete Yohuno. We'll take some reactions from Parliament now and then speak to a Labour analyst. Don't go away.
Out there, those who are also down there working so hard to get to the top would never get to the top. If you have somebody who has about 3 years to go on retirement and now you have 2 years, by the time it gets to that person, he'll already be on retirement. This really do not augur well for, you know, the full and the commitment of people. You need people to work for something. And by way of doing that, when they work, knowing very well that tomorrow they can be recognized and be made IGP, but then, you know, you just cut it off because you have one person who probably will do your bidding. Well, I think it's for me, if you ask me, it's a sorry state. And for me, it will even kill that spirit of wanting to work hard to see the police grow. Because after all, there will be nothing to look up to, nothing to fight for. So if I am there and I have about 3 years and I know that, look, if I do so well, you know, commit myself to doing that, to move the police forward, I will be recognized and probably be made the IGP if I happen to be the second in line. And then you have this IGP having his tenure extended. What it means is that I don't have anywhere going. I am completely, you know, locked up. So what do I have to do? It's going to be business as usual.
To be able to extend the tenure of the IGP if he so wishes for 2 years, exactly what he's done. President John Dramani Mahama is a president of all time who plays with the books or plays according to the rules of engagement of the constitution and the laws that govern us. I don't believe that he will do anything outside the law. So everything he does is strictly according to the law. And so I don't see why anybody should make a fuss about it. To say that people are in line and are waiting to get there, I'm not sure this is the first time this extension of contract is happening. And so it's a normal thing. It's a vote of confidence in him by the president and the whole general police force. And so I think that we should do with it. He's come not too long ago. We realized that there were before he came, helping stabilize the situation. To just take him off and bring another person will change the course of the police service and its work. And so I believe that 2 more years for him to bring to bear what he can do as the IGP of the state, it's in place. And so I don't find a fault with it at all. And I think that Excellency has done well, and we should just commend him for. People who were jumped over their seniors and given a position of IGP, didn't we? Did that not bring down the morale of the people? Maybe Afro Barometer will have to be sent back to the police service to do a research to see whether morale is down or high. But I don't believe that actually this is going to bring down the morale. He's already gotten to the stage. It's barely a year, less than a year, when he was appointed the IGP. So to give him 2 more years, I don't think would take so much away from him. I'm sure after 2 years, somebody else will also have a bite and to take charge of the management and administration of the police service. And so I don't believe that, but maybe we'll have to get Musa Dankwa to go and run some research in the police service to see whether it has anything to do with morale being down or otherwise. But I don't think so. I don't believe that that will actually.
Labour expert Austin Game is joining us on the back of this. We'll have a quick conversation with him to know his perspective on this matter. But, you know, I have just spoken with Dr. Doke, who is saying, look, we're making a big deal out of this. But I guess for the Ghanaian people, it is because it would seem as though the lead employer, the president, is walking back on his promises to the people. What do you make of the situation?
Thank you, my friend. I don't think so. Fortunately, what the president said was written by his secretary, and so we will have access. You have access too. He said temporary, or if you like, suspended, because they were coming to office new, of course, at the time. And so it was only prudent for them to ensure that they have a seat properly to enable them to know what to do. And we all understood that. And I am for people retiring to enable younger people to get opportunity. But the reality is that this is an office which is slightly different from normal administrative, secretarial, and general work arrangement. This is a specialized office. You are the IGP in charge of national security and orderliness. The president looks up to somebody he has confidence in. Indeed, therefore, the temporary suspension of contracts, the word is temporary, the word is suspension. And so if they are now saying that, look, this gentleman is settling in and it appears there is some semblance of unity of purpose in the police service, why do we have to just elevate just anybody at all just because it's the next in command to be there? So since it's suspension, we cannot fault it.
I see.
If it's a, yes.
But so then we can also say that if there was an announcement of a temporary suspension and there is no announcement that the temporary suspension has been lifted, but then the same action is being perpetuated by the one who made the announcement, it creates confusion, right?
No, I don't see it like that. Maybe it's our approach to it. A letter had been written, which you have shown on your screen a while ago, that there is a suspension of people having to have this general contract renewal and so forth and so on. They are settled, the government is settled in now for about 11 months now. They have an IGP who was also acting and has been properly put into office as the full-fledged IGP for the nation. He's done barely less than a year. Why do you, and has started something, and we can all see clearly that there is some semblance of peace and unity within the police service.
That's right.
We don't have to revert to the old order by, I used to be invited to teach at the highest level at the police, academy in Winneba, and therefore I know how the police is and how great the police service is. You need somebody who has a good calling and into the police hierarchy and who has the capacity to lead. I think this IGP, knowing his background and where he comes from, is doing very well. And I think that's the reason why the president has confidence in him and is renewing his service to continue for the next 2 years.
I see.
Think it's appropriate.
Some have argued that, look, people are waiting in line to have their day of trying, the slot of IGP in the service. From a workplace point of view, how should this be handled? Do you even expect that this could affect the morale that the IGP has managed to uplift in the service?
I appreciate that very well. To be honest with you, those who are in line, it's not automatic that you will necessarily be lifted to become IGP. There should be about 3, 4, 5 people who may be on the same level, who might have entered the service about the same time and are qualified, reasonably well qualified. But like I said, a president under no circumstance should just elevate people into an office of IGP, just like we lift our people to become directors of technical services in a company or in a medical service.
Very well. We'll leave it here. Always a pleasure talking to you. Austin Game is a former Deputy Employment Minister. He's also a labor affairs expert. Now, let's go back to that earlier story on religious tolerance in our senior high schools. Remember that we had told you that the Catholic Bishops' Conference and the Christian Council have both reinforced their position on practicing only Christianity in Christian or mission schools. Now, let's engage President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference right now. Bishop Matthew Kwesi Jemfi has joined me over the telephone now. Bishop, let's look at the situation, zoom out a little bit. You've already cited constitutional rights to religious liberty and freedom of association. But at the same time, what we see is not religious tolerance. How do we reconcile these positions?
Yes. First of all, let me preface the answer I'm going to give you with a memorandum of understanding to guide religious tolerance in schools, agreed and adopted by government-assisted and private mission schools. This agreement is endorsed by the Director General of Ghana Education Service. This document has been signed and agreed upon by the major missions, by the Ahmadiyya Mission, AME Zion, Anglican Church, Assemblies of God, Ghana Baptist Convention, the Catholic Church, Evangelical Presbyterian, Office of the National Chief Imam, Methodist Church, Presbyterian Church, Salvation Army, Garrison Education, Police Education. These are the unit schools, most of which are religious-oriented schools. And we have agreed that this is the way we are going to convey religious tolerance in our schools. Now, this is in agreement and with the Constitution of Ghana. Now, what is the problem? Why should anybody pick up this issue back to life when we have come down as religious leaders to solve these issues in our schools and amongst ourselves? Why does anybody want to make political capital out of this again?
Why do you think this is for political capital?
Yeah, because the issue is solved.
How was it solved?
Now, that is the document I'm reading to you. Read this memorandum of understanding. Read it. It's the Director General, Ghana Education Service, already signed and agreed to this. The date that I have here is pen written, but it's 11th April 2025. And in this year, this document was given to all the schools, which they have explained to parents and students as school reopened. So the issue of religious tolerance, as far as we are concerned, is solved and has been handled by the religious leaders who own and operate these government-assisted schools.
I see. So Bishop, I am still trying to hear how the situation is solved in that MOU you are reading to us. What did you decide or agree on in that MOU?
If you want me to read to you, I can do that.
I mean, what's the crux of that MOU?
The MOU is that the religion that owns the school, if it is Islamic, generally, their orientation, their human formation, etc., will be the general mode of governing, running, and ensuring discipline in the school.
That is quite clear.
Listen, I'm coming. But they should not look down on other religions and should give them permission as much as possible for all those who do not belong to the religion that founded the school to also practice their religion.
Right.
So that is the crux of it.
And I appreciate that. A lot of clarity on this matter. What Wesley Girls wants to do is against your MOU. Do you agree?
Now, what Wesley Girls did, by that time, we had not come up with this MOU. I think that is about 3 or 4 years ago. This memorandum of understanding was not there. And even if it was not there, I wish to remind you that all along, there have been good religious tolerance in all the mission schools, Islamic, Catholic, Presbyterian, Protestant schools. There have been. Now, what happened at Wesley Girls? For anybody who has run a school before, a boarding school, a secondary school, you know that at that age, young people are not allowed or encouraged to fast for health reasons and academic reasons. So the headmistress, if you allow anything to happen to anybody's daughter, they will hold you responsible. And he could not take that responsibility upon herself. That's why he said, please no, to be on the safer side. People did not like it. So in this memorandum of understanding, it is written there that on the issue of fasting, students should be allowed to fast. However, permission should be sought by parents, guardians, from school authorities, and requisite counseling provided before the period of fast commences. Students will, however, abide by all school rules and regulations. Any health-related effects of the fast, on the other hand, are not the school's responsibility. It is in this memorandum of understanding. So the issue of Wesley girls, they were not allowing them to fast, is neither here nor there. Now, that issue is solved.
I see. So that's issue, so again, just to clear the point, that issue is solved on paper. But in practice, some of these minority religion aligned students are facing these situations. What you are telling us this afternoon is that if you are discriminated in school because of your religion, that school is wrong.
Yes. This area has agreed. And that school, even the religion, if he tells his party that, for example, my parents came, they wanted me to fast, they signed all these things, but still, the head of the school did not allow me to fast. Then that head will be held responsible for religious discrimination or for other reasons, because the Director General of the Ghana Education Service has also endorsed this document, which was prepared by the National Peace Council.
I see. When was this MOU signed?
Please, I told you it is 11th April 2025.
11th April 2025. Again, thank you for reminding me of that. Which means that if people are perpetrating this, action should be taken against them, because based on this MOU, you're telling us that Muslims should be allowed to practice their religion. You have explained why the fasting will be a problem because they are under the care of the school and because of academic duties. It has to be managed properly. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes, it has to be done. It has to be done orderly, and so that the school says it is not, from educational perspective, it is not good. But you parent, if you say that it is still good for your child and you want your child to do, no problem. They will allow you to fast. And let anybody's parent who has gone there say, I want my child to fast, and then the school said, no, we won't allow you to fast. Then that will be religious intolerance.
Very well. We'll leave it here for now. Thank you so much for your time. Yes. Bishop Matthew Kwesi Jemfi is president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. We spent quite a bit on that subject. The conversation does not end here. We'll continue in other broadcasts. But let's turn attention to other issues now. But before then, we'll take our very first break. When we come back, we'll look a bit more at stories from across the regions.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love Flamingo paint because it gives small paints that paint huge area, meaning more profit for me. Great value for money.
As an architect, Flamingo paint, with its well-researched and solid composition, guarantees durability for all my buildings.
Flamingo paint, superior hiding, superior coverage, superior durability. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Mom and Dad, if you're looking for safe, affordable entertainment for your little ones this festive season, GoTV is your family's happy place. On our fun-filled and educational channels, wild imaginations can run free.
And Manchester's gonna take you there. Manchester's gonna take you high. Manchester's gonna take you high.
Home or on the go with GoTV Stream. GoTV is every happy child's happy place. GoTV. Love it.
More power. More power.
Ghana ha, hustle na ntwa obi awo. Eno ti na more power boboya. Ana me di me juma. Ni hu aten na ni part so wo.
More power boboya na ye papa. Aboboya we enu hwa moda. Aboboya kokotako. Ne hu den rough. Aboboya we ni tumirika no.
Fiti dwom, ade kwa site. Fiti ya foam, ade ba street. More power.
Welcome back. It's News Central here on TV3. I'm Kemini Amanor. Now let's turn attention to other stories now, because more than 400 persons displaced by the Akosombo Dam spillage are still stuck in camps in the North Tongu district of the Volta region. 2 years after the disaster which displaced thousands of residents in North Central, South Tongu districts, housing units commenced by government to provide decent accommodation for the victims continue to stall. Correspondent Faisal Abdul-Idris is joining us with a bit more on this story. Faisal, what else can you tell us about their conditions of living?
But almost 3 years. I mean, this is the third year starting soon, because the disaster happened somewhere around October 2023, and it's already 2 years. These victims are still living in camps. Some are still patching with relatives in other communities. And so when you go there, you realize that not only their livelihoods have been affected. In fact, during the disaster, we talked about how the situation was going to affect their livelihood. 2 years on, they've not been able to engage in any economic activities, because where they live currently does not even provide any conducive space for them to sleep. They are congested in some of the rooms. Yesterday, I visited the Aveiba camp, and the conditions there are not really good for them. But let me tell you, government during the time had begun projects to provide some 1,010 housing units for these victims across the 3 Tongue districts we're talking about. For the North Tongue alone, government was going to build some 700 housing units in 6 different places. Today, as I speak to you, these projects are not up to 10% completion, I mean, cumulatively. And so the situation across this district for the victims is really bad. I interacted with some of them yesterday. Let's have a listen to exactly what they are saying as far as where they stay currently is concerned.
And looking at the rate at which the work is going, I would say it's even below 10% overall completion rate. It will be below 10%. And it confirms a report that I received from our consultant, AESL. Because AESL came up with a report a month or 2 ago with some recommendations and some challenges. But I wanted to come here with the ministry to just come and have a look at it ourselves, so that when we are working on the report, then we know that, yes, this is what we have also come to see. And I think what we've seen and what they reported to us, it confirms it. So I just want to assure the good people of South, North, and Central Tongue that His Excellency the President, through the Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources, will ensure that this project is completed and completed within the specific time.
I mean, you see the state of the building that government is putting up for us. This is the Aveiba camp. We just left the Agbetipo camp. We have some at the Fadidome. There are various stages. So we are only pleading that the expedite action so that we can complete these buildings and the people will move from the various camps and come and live in the buildings that the government is providing. It's a bad situation. So once in a while we send something that we get. But for some time now, we have not been able to support them. So they are trying to support themselves as well. But just yesterday, they sent a message across that they want us to come back and support them. So we also put in food. So we also putting our heads together and see what.
Faisal, tell us how many people are left in these camps. What is government doing?
So for North Tongue yesterday, the DCE told us that over 400 of them are still spread across the Vime, Aveime, and the Abetiko camp. And South Tongue yesterday, the MCE could not tell us the exact numbers, but she indicated that these victims are still living with families across the district. We are yet to get the figure for Central Tongue because I know government had begun similar projects in Central Tongue, and in all, they would be building some 1,010. We just listened to the Minister for Works and Housing, who is telling us that he visited the places yesterday, that he would go back, look at the reports they received earlier on the project, compare that with what they have seen on the ground, and see how they push government to ensure that these projects are completed within time. What is, however, not clear is timeline. We do not know how soon government intends to complete this project. Yesterday, some of the district chief executives told us that some contractors that were awarded this project last year, some of them only mobilized and moved to site quite recently. What it means is that they are now coming to start work and hoping that with time they will be able to complete these facilities for the victims to move into them. Kemini.
Faisal, thank you very much for the reporting. Faisal Abdul Drisu is our Volta region correspondent. Now, fire this morning in Gulf Pass of the Dansuman market in the Ablekuma West municipality, destroying more than 80 shops. An 80-year-old girl trapped in the affected section of the market was burnt to death.
According to the Ghana National Fire Service, they received a distress call reporting a fire outbreak at the Dansuman market. The first crew from Dansuman Fire Station arrived immediately and met the blaze at advanced stage, spreading rapidly in all directions. There was reinforcement of fire tenders, leading to the mobilization of 8 fire engines from industrial area, ministries, national headquarters, Medina, Weja, Anya, and Accra City, supported by 2 private water tankers from Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Through a coordinated attack, the fire was confined at 2 a.m. and brought under control at 3 a.m. Overhauling operations continued to deal with hidden pockets of fire, and the incident was fully extinguished by 5 a.m. Tragically, an 8-year-old girl trapped within the affected section of the market was burnt to death. The cause of the fire remains unknown at this stage as investigations are ongoing. The incident resulted in the complete destruction of an unspecified number of wooden structures and shops used for commercial activities along with its contents. However, several adjoining structures and properties were successfully salvaged from total destruction. Joseph Armstrong, Gold, TV3, Dansuman, Accra.
More news ahead. Stay with us. On the ground, we'll connect now.
The former minister constituency, we are talking about Bosumpye, Atwuma Uwebieja North, and Atwuma Uwebieja South. And this is part of his 1-week Ashanti regional tour, just so he will be able to share with the delegates his plans for the party and also the country when given the chance to lead the MPP in the 2028 presidential election. In fact, the reception, I must say, has been encouraging in all the places he has visited. We've even had some delegates endorsing him, but that may reflect maybe during the election on January 31. But the message from Dr. Yao Mosedu Chum to the delegates has been one of welfare improvement and also economic empowerment. He is saying that leadership is all about bettering the lives of others, and that is what he stands for. And
What
when
did you
given
say? You're not
the
clear.
mandate,
campaign where I am. Mo amu mujidi munya jidi ni kese. Wo a wunya nya nso nya jidi no. Sebe ye beto ohia senti ni mani abresa mo problem am. Amanyo sam ye de nipa yie. Ye de pede nipa. Ka wo yo mampani no amoni ana ho. Onkrofo no begu animu ase. Enti na me de me ne se. Me Jubilee House o. Menya special advisor for party welfare. Adwuma wo ye no. Na party office bia wuni office we pe bia ma. Me the welfare officer bet now. Party pani ababa anyema nkoye wo yare. A yare no aye den ama. Wo national health insurance intimi ntua. Esese menya special insurance aye patriotic health insurance. Dear Ghana health insurance intimi ntua no. Enu timi yadan etua. Ne ebo nipa ho bai. And there ba ko simani so amani ambre samaye. Say a man no moto onema no ye ebo omu betire grant free man. Anya masroko.
Ibrahim Wudibe here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Ibrahim Abubakar, Ashanti Region correspondent. Back here, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has outlined government's plans to process more of Ghana's raw materials, including cocoa. This, she says, is part of efforts to create jobs, grow wealth at home, and reduce pressure to mitigate poverty. The Vice President was speaking to the Ghanaian community in Luanda, Angola.
The meeting with the Ghanaian community in Luanda, Angola, provided an opportunity to hear firsthand about the challenges and progress of Ghanaians living abroad. President of the Ghanaian Community Association in Luanda, Lord Beidou, praised Ghanaians for their hard work, discipline, unity, and contributions. He also appealed for Ghana card registration services in Luanda. Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, said the Mahama government is one that responds promptly to diaspora needs and will do that for those also in Luanda.
Last time we were in Nigeria, the Ghanaian community made similar requests. You may want to check from our compatriots in Nigeria. We have promptly addressed all those matters they raised. So if you check with your compatriots in Nigeria, you notice that we are a promise-fulfilling government. And anytime we come and engage you, interact with you, and you tell us what you desire, what you want us to do, we promptly deliver.
The Vice President, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, praised the community for their positive reputation and urged them to register with the embassy, promising to address their requests for the Ghana card services.
Register with the embassy is very, very important. We don't want to be in a situation where we don't know where people are and just to be called because there's a trouble or there's some trouble somewhere, there's a problem and you don't know where to go. So that kind of registration is important. We have heard you regarding the Ghana card and so on, and we are happy you all like them, and we'll do what we need to do to ensure that you get your Ghana cards too, and they are used according to the regulations of this country.
She noted the need for Ghana to rethink how it manages its mineral and natural resources to better serve citizens.
We are trying to look at the basics, ensuring that we are putting a halt, if not a big break on the exportation of raw materials. We are trying to find ways in which you can process the raw materials, because that is where you get a lot of wealth. That is where the value rises. If it's all about exporting, then you are not going to get a lot of benefits of what you need.
Ghana's ambassador to Angola, Mavis Kusogbo, pledged to leave no stone unturned in strengthening relations between Ghana and Angola.
That'll be all this hour for News Central. Next is the afternoon show. Do stay. I'm Kemini Amanor. I'll see you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.